Hi, and welcome to yet another episode of Thinking Out Loud podcast. My name is Jedrek,
My name's Masha.
and we are two English teachers who do what exactly?
Have fun.
Have fun on air, record it, unscripted, and post it online. It's all it is, I was remembering a little bit of our beginnings, in one of my Instagram posts. I'm back on Instagram, by the way, promoting heavily this podcast. And I was just remembering, the beginnings, but even before the podcast was even conceived, And I just remember that ever since we met, we had some really great conversations here on Skype or Zoom, whatever. And they made me feel good afterwards, that the aftertaste after certain conversations, I mean, there's an aftertaste after each conversation. Yeah. But after talking with you, I felt great. I felt like, wow, we really we are not nerdy teachers. We are not, discussing some, I don't know what actually that, the teachers from the typical school staff room, the teacher's room, whatever it is.
How would you know what they discuss in the staff rooms? You've never been
Great
there.
question. I've never worked in school, but no matter what,
let's not demonize or whatever.
All right, yeah,
we
I'm
do.
not okay. Great. I want to say, but teachers, especially school teachers, public school teachers, this is a specific kind of people. I think. Don't know if that's the same across countries, but from what I remember, they are usually some kind of petty. They're obsessed with something like who didn't flush the toilet, and who did what, some kind of small gossip, that kind of stuff, so each tiny little problem amounts to whatever, they make a mountain out of a molehill. If you kind of relate to what I say, all right, fine. But to cut the long story short, I just wanted to say that the conversations we had have always been great.
Teachery conversations.
They were, we talk about our professional matters, so they are kind of, teachery, but at the same time, I felt like we really have a different point of view. I mean, some kind of a broader point of view on both teaching, learning, and everything around.
And so even toilet flushing.
And even toilet flushing, why not?
Okay.
So that's why the idea of recording it and posting it online came to my mind. Was it actually my idea or yours to start?
I think it's always yours. All new ideas.
Always mine.
You see, Instagramming, using filters. It's always they're always your ideas. I came up with a good name, though. With actually a couple of good names.
Yeah, you came up with the name for this podcast for sure, and I like it a lot. And there is definitely something that you also do here.
Yeah, I talk. You bounce your ideas off me, yeah?
Off your back.
Well, it's my face, not my back.
Yeah, your face, fine. Great. I also have the feeling that
another existential crisis, you put me through. What am I doing on this podcast?
Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Great. So before we get down to the thinking out loud proper, by the way, I have to think up. Yeah, the meat, exactly. I have to think up of the question, because I haven't prepared any. But before we get down to that, I want to ask you something that is, let's say, semi-personal and related to the current situation. But I know that you went through a period of time of a blackout basically, or was it just the network, the mobile network, that wasn't working?
It was both, but it turned out that blackout is not as bad as I thought. What's really bad is isolation.
Isolation. You know
I
what?
mean, you take your phone, and there's nothing you can do with it. Absolutely useless. I used it as a flashlight. I cannot call anybody. I don't know what's going on. This is terrifying, I must say.
I just, I think I had, let's say, a semblance of what you experienced today, because for some strange reason, there is no network where I live in the south of France. I mean, no mobile network. My phone says it's sometimes 4G, 3G, but it's funny because it doesn't like say there's no network coverage, but simply, it cannot update my Twitter feed, Insta, whatever.
Can you call
so
people?
It feels like I haven't tried calling people, honestly, but I'm talking about the internet, So it's a bizarre situation, and it's I asked people at the marché, and they told me that it's been like that since early morning, that no one has actually access to the internet. And that's why I asked you, the question about how did you survive. How long, by the way, was it? Because it was like
6 hours,
half a day.
something like 6 hours.
All right, 6 hours, but it's enough, to drive everyone crazy, I think.
Yeah, and it's not just an ordinary
isolation.
day, I think since the beginning of the war, we when I was talking to my son, I told him, it's like the 24th of February. But he told me, kind of, basically every major city was attacked. And he said, it's kind of like that, but it's at the same time, it's different. And I know exactly what he meant, and I'll explain it. After, not having any information, it actually occurred to me closer to, it was already late in the evening, that we actually have a car, and we went to our car and we turned on the radio and we listened to the news. But all this time, I didn't, I knew that the worst is over before before the blackout. So I kind of knew that, okay, it stopped. And I made sure, I just touched base with everybody I had to touch base with. And I knew that everybody was fine. But still, I was like, okay, maybe something else is going on. Maybe this another neighbor, brotherly nation decided, to
invade.
Okay, don't want to. Okay, but and you're in this kind of void. You don't know what to do. Maybe it's already been, nuclear attack. Maybe I need to run. Maybe I need to do something. And you sit like this. And I expected, like the 24th. Okay, the 25th actually. We went out to try and get some food. And the city was deserted. This chilly feeling, when you're alone, nothing works, everything basically stopped. But what happened yesterday, well, not yesterday, Monday night, when the service was everything was back, the lights, and messages started coming, all my missed messages. And what did I see? I had ordered something before that. And I got a message from this company. Your order has been shipped. I got a message from delivery company. Your order will be delivered, on time. My son had his homework, on the platform. And I was like, wow, this nation is something.
Yeah.
And I understood how important it is for every little person like me just to keep doing what you must be doing. You have to wake up, you have to work, you have to do yoga, you have to just keep going. And it creates this feeling of I don't want to say order as opposed to chaos, but this kind of togetherness. I don't know how to describe this feeling, but when everything works like clockwork, you understand that no matter how many missiles, you drop on us, we will persevere. And I had
but it blows my mind, honestly, what you're saying, because it's incredible how much we depend right now on the internet, on being connected. Because just I know it wasn't that long time ago, when I was in my high school, we didn't have internet in our phones. We had some SMS maybe, but not every one of us had even a cell phone. So how did we?
When I was in school, we didn't have a phone in a flat.
Yeah, exactly.
My parents had no idea where I was and when I would.
We had a phone installed when I was in primary school, and I was a late primary school. So and then the first mobile phones were super expensive. We were using missed calls instead of sending an SMS or something, just to let someone know, hey, I'm thinking about you. That was the way also you picked up girlfriends, and so on. But but the thing is that ever since then we have undergone some sort of transformation that I think is irreversible right now, because I felt a kind of a discomfort going out and buying bread on the street market, not being able to just see what's going on Twitter, and not being able to. And it's also interesting what you say, because we are in fact more, let's say, atomized as a society, because you sit on the bus or on the train, like my recent trip. I was going on a train for 5 hours with a person sitting next to me, and I don't know if we exchanged more than excusez-moi and something like that, and at the same time both of us were in our smartphones, just constantly scrolling, checking, and we were contacting lots of people, both who we know and anonymous people who follow us on various social networks. But take it away from people and you feel totally isolated, and what comes with it, totally weird, so it's just just something to think about this, this are we honestly addicted to that, to this constant refreshing of the front page or whatever, the social media. It's interesting, but yeah, I don't know. Great, thanks a lot for the story. Let's go to the thinking out loud proper, because that wasn't proper. It was just the introduction. By the way, before we start, I just want to say that you already know that, but we are English teachers. You can study with us, you can book classes. All you have to do is to go to www.studiomentals.com. It's in the description of this episode, and the link, and,
or they can go to your Instagram and have lots of fun.
Yeah, of course, you can follow me on Insta. Come on, I'm a funny guy, or at least I think so. And how do you find me? It's mentals.fr. It's like the French extension, but you can find me there. And what am I doing there? I don't know. I'm just trying to promote this podcast somehow. Draw attention, make a clown out of myself, and which is funny because I find this podcast quite serious. What is your point of view on that?
Absolutely serious.
But I'm not talking about our, let's say,
incredible sense of humor.
Or Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about, the things we want to achieve with that podcast.
Yes, the mission.
And I don't mean, I don't mean popularity, but I mean, providing certain input that is hopefully understandable and, well, sort of funny, but it's not the point. But at the end of the day, we are so hungry of, now listen, the truth. We want to get down to the essence of whatever concept we are exploring. And we just want to, find some sort of stability in this chaotic world, right? So now
Yeah.
we understand cowardice. Now we understand shyness. Now we understand whatever concept we are talking about, So it's fantastic, and you can achieve that. You can achieve all of that thanks to language, simply. And it sort of doesn't matter which language you're talking in. I mean, it could be your first, your second, third, doesn't matter. But language helps you to understand and to find some sort of a footing, I guess. And,
At least we hope.
We hope, at least. Very often we fail at that. I mean, we never get down to the bottom of the problem and solve it like once and for all. Don't know if that is ever possible, but at least, we try, and I like these explorations. This is a serious job performed by less serious people, but what I mean.
So give it a try.
We are.
Follow us for a month instead of the Kardashians.
Yeah, exactly. Why Kardashians? Why not Masha and Jedrek? Right. Fine. So let's get down. Let's get down to the nitty gritty, and let's start round one. The tradition has it that I'm asking you the first question, right?
Is this the tradition? I thought we take turns.
We take turns, but
I'm the boss. I'm asking first.
But if you want, I mean, I'm ready.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Tell me, what's the difference between an encyclopedia and a dictionary?
Encyclopedia. Well, that's
like
easy.
2 books, or if they're books, right now they're all in digital format, but 2, let's say, sources that look pretty much similar, and they have entries sorted in alphabetical order. But what's the difference?
In a dictionary, you get the meaning of the word and other, a bunch of other information about the word. Like if it's masculine, feminine, is it countable, uncountable, how it's used in a sentence, in a good dictionary, you get all that.
Okay, so you get info about the word.
This is just linguistic information. What does this word mean in this language? What does this word represent? For example, apple, it's a type of fruit.
Will the dictionary tell you that?
Yes. Okay.
That it's a type. I wonder, if you go to any kind of dictionary.com even.
Yeah, I go to Longman. Apple, a hard, round fruit that has red, light green, or yellow skin and is white inside. It's a noun.
Now, could you go to Wikipedia and check the meaning of that, of Apple? I know that, there are probably a bazillion of entries because it's, of course, Apple computers and whatnot. But if you could just find the fruit,
It's just edible fruit produced by an apple tree. And then you get lots of information. Apple trees are cultivated worldwide and are the most widely grown species. So you get information about an apple. The tree originated in Central Asia. But in a dictionary, you get only, well, I still want to use this word, linguistic information.
So wait a second. In the encyclopedia, you have the information about the meaning, or about what? Because it's not about the word,
Not about
but
the word.
about the concept.
About concept.
And dictionary is all about words, just lexical items.
Lexical items. That's why you get
Could
a
you
lot of information about the word itself. What's best?
could you
What's this word's best friend? You have collocations.
could you find Napoleon Bonaparte in a dictionary? The entry like that.
Napoleon. It's like a encyclopedia. It looks like an encyclopedia entry.
Well, but how do you know?
Because it gives a short history.
Description of history. All right.
Because it's not linguistic item. Napoleon. Just okay. Pronunciation is important. Napoleon, but Bonaparte. I have no idea
Is
how.
Napoleon or Napoleon? I don't know.
Napoleon.
Napoleon. Oh my goodness.
So you see,
my whole life. Oh yeah, I learned something from a dictionary for sure.
See.
Okay, great.
So it doesn't look like, well, because it's not. It's just a name. You don't want to know what it means. You just want to know who the person is. You know that it's a person. You understand that it's a name. But if I don't know, if I'm a child, I see this hard round fruit and I ask mommy what that is. And she will say it's an apple.
So
she will go and she will put on her encyclopedia hat and will start explaining about apples.
All right. One more question. The Second World War. Will you find that in a dictionary?
No, I would go to Encyclopedia. But nobody uses encyclopedias anymore.
Like there are
Google.
no users using Wikipedia. I mean, Wikipedia is the encyclopedia of the world right now.
This is the go-to website for you if you want to know about.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I visit it quite frequently. I mean, it's something that I visit regularly. Every time I'm confronted with something like a strange concept or whatever.
So you see, you don't go to Longman.
No, I don't go to Longman. Never.
No, you don't go to vocabulary.
Because I want the explanation. I don't want to see how to use the word or
how to use it.
Yeah.
But if you hear a word you don't know in English, you go to Longman.
The dictionary. Yeah. All right. No, honestly, today it's Google Translate, but it works as a dictionary, right?
You use Google Translate.
Yes. Why not? What's wrong with that?
Come on. There's very little information about the word. You mean if it's a noun, if it's countable,
well, I can figure this out.
Word families, you can. You can.
I mean, unless you find the word totally out of its context, then sure. But what matters most to me is perhaps the translation, So the equivalent, I'm looking for the equivalent in my own language. And then, so I know it's called a translator. It's not a dictionary, but dictionaries are sort of translators. I mean, they provide.
Dictionaries are so much more.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. So I love dictionaries.
And there are different types. Of dictionaries. The one that I'm looking for, and I don't know if it even exists, is a dictionary of concepts. Yeah. So that, you have certain concepts that are linked. Like, for example,
freedom and independence.
Yeah, like freedom and independence, exactly. Something that we discussed recently. But yeah. But there is no way to find such kind of. I mean, I haven't found anything like this.
Maybe you should create one.
Maybe, one day, when my database is, awfully big. Great, Masha. I think it was a short round, kind of accidental, if I may say so, because I don't have any
to make up for the long introduction.
Exactly. Great. So let's proceed to round 2. Why not? Let's hit the gong.
Okay,
and,
the gong.
Let's proceed.
My question is, what's the difference between intimate and romantic?
Great. This should be actually the first question,
Why?
I don't know, because it's going to feature, in the title. It's like intimate, romantic, something people are always interested in. Great. I will try and explore that in a moment. We sort of forgot about our innovation and the use of phrases, but we'll skip that maybe and start next time.
And our is a very generous word, here.
All right, guys, I wanted to use certain phrases, and to be honest, I can say that now when it's kind of late, but I can say that I wanted you to use a phrase like "go ape shit."
I don't want to use this phrase. It's totally alien to me.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if you could actually apply it to dictionary and encyclopedia, because
okay,
there's
go
no
ahead
context
and
for
use
that.
It. Answering intimate, answering intimate and romantic. That's a challenge.
All right. Well, that's a challenge, but we are not far from certain biological functions there. Great. Let's go.
Who the hell even needs this phrase? There's so many beautiful phrases.
Great. I think it's great. It's like people are going ape shit. All right. Great.
You spend too much time on Instagram,
Yeah. I wanna get serious now.
Yeah, let's
try to explore intimate.
Yeah.
All right, great. Let me see intimate and romantic. Let's find some collocations first. The best thing, we could have a romantic dinner, but not really intimate dinner, right?
Not necessarily. It could be, but not necessarily.
What would that mean? Sitting naked?
No, it would mean you have really, really intimate conversations.
Oh yeah, intimate conversation.
You get to know each other very, very well.
You're right. But you wouldn't say we had an intimate dinner, unless, because intimacy is about being close to each other, either physically or mentally. I mean, we are frank, and we have no secrets towards one another. So for sure, that is intimacy. And being romantic has perhaps little to do with proximity. I mean, either physical or mental. Because to be romantic, romantic in my mind is something that evokes certain emotions. A sunset could be romantic, right? It usually is romantic.
But only if you sit very close to each other. You don't want to go to the movie and you sit in the front row and she sits in the back row. How romantic is that? So physical proximity is somehow important here.
No, I mean, wait a second. You go to Italy and to one of these old medieval towns, or why not? You go to France, you come to Provence.
Together.
And why together? I mean, you're walking down the street alone.
What? No. You can never have a romantic trip alone.
Like, why not? I mean, look, romantic in my mind refers to the feelings that you feel, it's romantic. I know that normally, I mean, it refers to relationships, to, you know, to love and so on. But I think that a romantic place is romantic no matter if there are people or not. I mean, well, let's say if there's a couple or just one person, you know, sitting and eating a sandwich, you know.
No,
You
wait
know
a
what I mean?
second.
It's
Okay, no. Okay, Paris is, yeah, place can be romantic, but Paris is a romantic city. Why?
well, I know what you're driving at. That, you know, that there are lovers, you know, um, they come to Paris for like a perfect date or something. It doesn't matter that, you know, the streets stink of urine or something. It doesn't matter. It's a romantic city, you know. There's an Eiffel Tower and so on.
I think
But
because French people are all about food and love, you know. That's why France is a country where you go for your honeymoon.
yeah, I mean, for sure. But aren't we now, you know, it's great that you asked the difference between intimate and romantic, because I think that people often confuse that, and I don't mean like ordinary people, but even, you know, travel agencies and so on. They confuse that, you know. They will advertise something as romantic when in fact they mean intimate, because you'll have a chance to be together in a hotel room, you know,
Yeah, but the
and
mere
so on.
fact of being together locked in a hotel room for a couple of days doesn't mean that you get intimate. You can spend 2 days, you know,
There are chances for that.
scrolling through your, I mean, let's not
but
talk about
but
physical intimacy.
neither does it mean that neither does it mean that the atmosphere will be anything close to romantic, you know.
Okay, imagine it's would you describe it as romantic if okay, I have a new boyfriend and he says, I want to take you to, I don't know, Paris, yeah? And he books a nice hotel, and when we when we get into our room, it's, you know, there are flowers. He arranged everything, flowers, champagne and strawberry and cream, whatever. And you have a bed shaped like a heart. It's insanely romantic. But then what happens next is we drink champagne, eat strawberry, and then he, you know, says, okay, I need to check my, you know, or we start talking about something, I don't know,
Politics.
something, yeah, politics. How intimate is that?
No. That kills romanticism, you know. It's not totally not romantic. You can still get intimate. I mean, close. You can have sex, you know.
Yeah,
But
it's easy with physical intimacy, but with
yeah, it's you're right. But with that's interesting, you know, because if why would actually the discussion about politics kill this mental intimacy? It can only happen if there are divergent points of view, right? Like
and
you
you
know,
can get very intimate talking about politics, provided two people are very into, you know, they're both really into politics. They can get really intimate, I guess, but it will be nothing.
no,
It's definitely
wait
not
a second, wait.
romantic.
No, it's not romantic, but I think you know, intimate. I don't know
So you
if
cannot
discussing
get
something.
intimate discussing politics. No, it
No,
would
you
be
can't. Why not? Because
yeah,
it has to be personal.
it has to be
I mean,
personal.
you know, it has to refer to your life, your you know, the facts from your life, not the facts from the life of you know, the prime minister or
Okay, you get 5 dates. Let's say you've already had 5 super romantic dates. But after these 5 romantic dates, he doesn't know shit about you. He doesn't know that your father is an alcoholic, that your sister is drug addicted, that you are going through some kind of a crisis, because you managed to avoid all these, you know, intimate topic. So he still doesn't know anything about you, but there
Yeah,
was
that
quite a
doesn't
lot of
prevent.
romance. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't prevent these people from having romantic, dates.
Yeah. So romance doesn't necessarily mean intimacy, and the other
Not
way
at all.
around.
Not at all. And the other way around. Yeah. There was the period in the history of art called Romanticism, and this was when emotions played somehow, the primary role, right? It was the emotions that mattered, not science, not not the whatever
Logic.
objective truth. Yeah, logic, exactly. So romantic, definitely a romantic atmosphere, and being romantic is about emotions, certain emotions that, well, I guess are pleasant. They have to be pleasant. It's about making people feel good. That's why these candles and roses, flowers and so on, this is romantic, right? If
This
I
is
bring
romantic.
Yeah, if
Campfire.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Fire,
is
why would actually
different things for different work for different people.
I remember I had a question in my database. What's more romantic, the old town or the financial center? Don't know if let's say that cities have an old, in Europe at least, we have old towns and a financial district, and which is more romantic? What would you choose?
Of course, the old tower.
But well, I don't know if you can't actually, if you think about the financial district at night, when the skyscrapers are lit, and it's also kind of that you see the skyline and all that. It's kind of of course. But and then okay, but even if I agree with you that the old town, because why the old is more romantic than the new?
It's actually not the place, it's the person. But then again, it's intimacy. It's not romance. Yeah, some things are definitely romantic no matter what.
Old cars, generally
cars.
old equals romantic because it's sentimental, because it's you see the past generations that used to live there, or I don't know.
Yeah, but in the modern
And why would actually fire or a campfire be more romantic than a light bulb? That's it. That's a valid question.
Yeah.
Or a LED light, because now it's the LED light. You just click, and you could have equal light, also changing sort of intensity and so on. You could have an imitation of a campfire.
No idea. I have no idea. Why is a candle more romantic than a light bulb? Romantic.
Because why is it more romantic? Because it creates romantic atmosphere. I'm not saying that LED lights couldn't do the job, but still the candles is what you go for when you really want to make romantic atmosphere.
I would say they can't, this LED. No.
But you can have every color you like. You could actually have maybe a red
Candle.
light, or pink.
Because candlelight,
Mhm.
you can't see everything very clearly, in the candlelight. The girl in the candlelight is not the girl you see in the morning.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's more romantic.
And why would that add romanticism to the situation? Because it's like more, because you imagine things more than you actually see. It's this romanticism versus oh my goodness, enlightenment, right? Where the reason.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about other attributes, because there must be some kind of connection. And other attributes would be flowers, would be wine, would be not mourning.
They have one common denominator here. I mean, they are natural. They are natural.
Okay.
This is not technological stuff. This is natural. I mean, the fire, wine, which is, of course, wine could be produced in a factory that this wine, I mean, could be totally synthetic. But let's assume that wine is produced, is handmade, and
the purpose of wine is totally different. It's just to make you drunk. That's it.
Well, but if you drink, the first sip of wine, you're not yet drunk, but you feel good.
Yeah, but if you drink too much, there will be no romance.
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, if you drink too much, I mean, there's nothing romantic in being drunk. Yeah, there's nothing romantic about it.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
So why? Okay, flowers.
Or being tipsy.
Flowers.
And once again, you have a choice: real flowers, fake flowers.
Oh, come on. No, it's never a choice.
I mean,
don't even go
theoretically.
No, not even theoretically.
Go down this path.
Don't go down this path.
But you see, why do you think
cemetery? Okay, never, ever even. It's
not
even
there,
choice.
not even there. But the question is, why are real flowers more romantic than fake flowers? Because they are more romantic. I mean, in fact, it's not that they are more romantic. They are simply, it's just that fake flowers kill romanticism totally. If you offer someone fake flowers for their birthday or because you love them, I mean, it's over. You killed everything. It's not romantic. If it cannot die, it's not romantic. If it cannot, it's interesting, but once again, I know why. It's about the nature of emotions, because emotions die too. They are short-lived creatures. They emotions come and go, and I guess something like a fake flower, plastic flower, cannot die, and it's that's why it's not in sync with our emotions. The same with LED light that could well, there is some sort of a limit to it, like how long can it be on, but definitely it's longer than the campfire, because if you stop adding logs of wood, it will die.
If it's there is like, a power outage, no.
No, but you see what I mean. I mean, the nature of emotions is that they are temporary. They are transitory. They come and go. They change, and it's the same with flower, with candlelight, with let's say the bottle of wine that comes and goes. but there is something to it, because
I
all
don't
the
think
stuff
it's
that is
that deep as
all
that.
right. Okay, so I went too deep, maybe. But
Too deep,
all
yeah.
the stuff that's artificial, it's kind of, at least to me, maybe maybe I'm old school or something, but it's not really romantic. All the new stuff,
Diamond ring.
Well, what about diamond ring? I mean, it's an age-old concept, What's so modern about the diamond ring? I mean, nothing. No, it's not. It's actually a diamond ring romantic.
I'm trying to think of the most romantic gesture. And it usually, of course, I'm not going to share it, but usually it's something small. It's not expensive diamond ring. It's something that showed that the person put a great deal of thought, into this. The person really knows you. He knows exactly what you will like. He will not take you to a posh restaurant trying to impress you if he knows that you hate all this, stuff, and you would prefer a campfire, because some girls like campfire, and guitar. Some girls like diamonds and gold. So sometimes it would be something, small, something inexpensive. And it will just,
a small
blow you
gesture.
away.
Yeah, it's what, I don't know if this is relevant to our conversation, but sometimes there are moments, let's say you drive your car and the radio station actually plays a song that perfectly fits the moment. I don't know how to how they do it, or maybe it's just it's just your head, but there are moments like that. I don't know, the I want to say entourage, the setting, everything is right, the sunlight, the whatever, everything is just waiting for that song, and then they play it. It's like a perfect fit, and I don't know if that's like I said, is this relevant to being romantic or not, but there are romantic songs, right?
And films.
And films, yeah, but what is the most romantic song? It's I know there are plenty of romantic songs, but they just
Lady in Red, of course.
Lady in Red. All right. There are plenty, I think the songs that people choose for, I don't know if there's a tradition like that of the first dance during the wedding. I don't know if everyone can but and you choose the song and then you dance with your wife already, or husband. And people usually go for something romantic there. But once again, the music is just it's not like there is more or less romantic music in my mind. It's just the whole setting, and plus the music.
You don't think that there's more or less romantic music? You wouldn't take your girl to a rave party if you wanted to be romantic.
Great, sorry. Of course, I just want to say that there's a whole class of romantic music,
Yes.
And now, is it Eros Ramazzotti, or is it whoever, but you could list the artists.
So all
here.
These things, they put you in the right mood, they make you think of love. Why do we think of love when we look at fire? Why do we think of love when we look at flowers? Why do we think of love when we are in the old town? Because there are so many stories, Cinderella, whatever, and they are in the past. And old town, it's something, there were kings and queens that fell in love, and
Do you think the times were more romantic back
of course not.
Back in the days?
Come on, of course not, but this is how we see
but
them.
Why do we see that, that exactly the old town, where people didn't have a washing machine, they were hand washing stuff, in the street. Was that romantic?
Because how do we know about this time? We know about this time from stories people tell, and people choose what kind of stories to tell. Not about, oh, how my life was difficult without a washing machine. Nobody would read that. They tell love stories, duels.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, and
Yeah,
that's
all that,
how
Disney.
our image of this time is formed. That's how a princess, what a real, okay, a woman, what's her. Oh no, I don't want to go this way.
Well, I mean, great. Just one more question here to you, even though
even though
it's
you're
you who could be
answering my question.
Yeah, but is actually romantic strictly about love? I mean, does there have to be love in the background?
I think yes.
Or not?
Yeah.
At
Well,
the
give
end of
me
the
an
day,
example when you say romance and don't think of love.
Of love. Yeah, you're right.
Even friendship.
But
no.
Not even friendship.
No.
So romantic is strictly reserved to love.
I'm sure that it has some Latin origin or whatever. I'm sure there's something Roman, whatever.
Yeah. But it kind of also debunks my theory about being alone and watching the sunset and feeling.
It's never romantic.
It's never romantic. It could be. There are different names for it, right?
Yeah,
could
lonely.
Be sentimental. All right, but okay, there's no romantic evening if you're alone.
Romance takes two. Let's say it like that.
Romance takes two. All right, great. Thanks for that.
Or three, depending. Sorry.
I bet, I bet there are various combinations, possible. But let's go back to intimate for a moment, and let's so intimacy, I already said it, is about proximity, both physical, both, either physical or mental or both. There could be intimacy that is strictly physical, but there's no intimacy in terms of, this mental connection, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry for that. Someone's calling me. Not picking it up. Not now. Have to wait. So it's about the proximity, and I have, there is another a huge conversation, I think, but the difference between intimacy and privacy, it's also interesting because something that's private is not necessarily intimate, right? I mean, it's my private phone, but it's not my intimate phone, whatever that would mean,
like sugar and salt. I don't know what to compare.
No, there is, because both things, like your privacy and your intimacy, you try to keep it away from the public at large, from others.
How can you keep your intimacy?
Well, you're not running around naked, are you?
It's privacy.
No, it's intimate. I mean, it's my intimate parts of my body, there are intimate parts.
Yeah.
And I'm not showing it to no matter who.
Yeah, but we don't say it like, I guard my intimacy. No.
You do it.
Yeah, but you would say intimate parts or my privacy. You don't phrase it like this.
They overlap. If you go to a doctor, and you have some problem that is, maybe a little bit, let's say, well, it's intimate, because, for example, I know you have ulcers, okay? So you're not going to share that information with everyone. Hey, people, I've got an ulcer,
Intimate information.
This is I think it's also private in that case.
It's not even a collocation. Intimate information.
No, it's
intimate relationship. But your relationship with your doctor.
But there are intimate facts. There are intimate facts. The facts from your intimate life, because there is something like intimate life.
intimate life, yes. Intimate facts.
I mean, there are facts from your intimate life. So, the fact that you're sick but it usually refers to, I think, the sphere, like the sexual orientation, for example. It's your intimate life,
Yeah, because intimate parts are your, sex related parts.
Yeah. But also, I'm thinking,
intimacy, it's about, if we talk only about physical intimacy, it's only about sex.
It's about sex, yeah, and the everything related to it. I think it's intimacy.
Physical,
However,
yeah.
if it's physical, if it's physical, it's mostly that.
Mhm.
However, but also defecating is also an intimate act. It's something that you would like people to see. That's why toilets are actually something that isolates you from the world, right? You don't want people to see you doing it, or whatever, peeing or defecating, because it's intimate, But it's also somehow related.
Totally unromantic,
It's totally unromantic. Oh my God, peeing and defecating, this is totally not romantic. But it's intimate.
Okay.
It's
okay.
intimate. All right,
so
great.
What is the difference?
Well, I mean,
I have no idea. Yeah.
I've been beating around this bush, for a while. I think there are some really interesting discoveries here, and this question was really great. So much better than a dictionary, encyclopedia, and dictionary, which was kind of picked at random, very quickly, and so on. I used to have a very good conversation about that. I mean, dictionary, encyclopedia, but maybe you were too competent for it, because you answered
I can't imagine a good conversation about this. I'm sorry.
There is something. Yeah, there is something. There is a gateway to a great conversation, but I can't remember honestly where's that gate.
To me, it's like a question, the difference between chess and checkers. Sorry. No offense.
Oh, okay, fine, great. Well, it's my bad, I wish I had a question like yours, so that would fire things up. Great. I think we're approaching the end.
We definitely are.
Yeah. I'm taking somehow, this whatever, way out of intimate and romantic without concluding properly. But it's great, to explore that. And wow, there were so many things that we touched in this conversation. Great. That's why I liked our conversation. So this conversation leaves a great aftertaste, contrary to perhaps dictionary and encyclopedia.
Apart from defecating part, but otherwise,
well, that the aftertaste is maybe, but you know what I mean. Great. So time to say bye. Thanks a lot to our listeners. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for, of course, sharing and promoting this podcast. It means a lot to us. Masha, it's time for the sacramental phrase.
This was another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye.